But that's why it's called the rule of half. Halfway is the eyes, halfway is the nose, halfway is the lip. Eyes sit one above, ear, eyebrow to mouth. Good. Now, what you're going to draw today, you're going to do a head in a three-quarter view. What is a three-quarter view? Three-quarter view is the most used view of a person when you're trying to make them look attractive. Actresses know automatically what is their best side. So when you go to do this egg, the point of the egg is going to be slightly off center. It's going to actually tilt to one edge. All right. I didn't do a very good job of that. Hold on. There we go. That's a little better. Okay. Unlike the realism, since you are making these things up, you can totally erase. That's why I tell you guys to draw light. Once you feel confident in the lines that you were putting down, which may not be till the face is done, you can always go back and draw over them. All right, so we had the rule of half last time. It still applies, it's just our face is turned. So since our face is turned that way, our middle line is really going to be a 3/4 to a 1/4. And it's not going to be particularly straight because your face is turned, making it look more three-dimensional. All right. Our half is going to be in the middle, but it too is going to be curved. All right. So that is where the eyes are going to fit. So I'll give you a second to kind of try to figure that out. In reality, that half is still existing. It's just the head's turn. So we've got 3/4 of a head here. We got 1/4 here. All right, now here's where it gets really interesting because we got to do an eye. The eye that's on the 3/4 side can pretty much, very closely, be drawn just like we did last time. There's not a huge variation in it. I cut it short a little bit. I'm going to put an eyeball actually looking in that direction, looking off to the right. Right. There'll be a little fleck in the eye from a highlight. There'll be some texture. I'll pop some lashes here. Now I'm going to make this person look kind of angry. And definitely when you're doing comic books, one of the most important things is to be able to draw expressions, because expressions are going to make your character come to life. So if I bring her eyebrow down a little, she's going to look slightly angry. So I'm going to give you like maybe, I don't know, 60 seconds to play around, a minute or so. Play around with that one eye. Okay, so now that we have that one eye looking a little angry, normally our first goal would be to draw the other eye, right? But there's a slight problem in that when you have a head turned 3/4. Part of that eye is going to be blocked by the nose. And in a 3/4 view, wherever your head is turning, the area with the bigger side, a 3/4 side, there's going to be more of that nose to that 3/4 side. So it's not like you're seeing a full profile nose, it's you're seeing a partial nose. So kind of sketch that out. Now, I kind of screwed up. I should have said halfway between the eyes and chin are the nose, halfway between the nose and the chin are the mouth. We're getting there. So now that we have something that looks like that nose, we're going to work on that angry eyebrow. Now this eyebrow's distance, because it's on the 1/4 side, is a lot shorter. So not only do I have a shorter eyebrow, but when I go draw this eye, I'm not really going to see the point of the other side, because since the face is turned like so, this eye or the curve of the eye itself kind of becomes the edge of the face. So while your eye sits firmly and comfortably on your 3/4 side, looking all happy and safe and guarded, this eye here, this actual curve of the sphere, you can see in the outline. And if you wanted to try this at home, you can actually get out a couple of mirrors, play around with it. I'm gonna, since I brought up the bottom up for cheek, I'm gonna do underside of that, just to kind of make these look a little more leveled out. All right. Now, if you really want her or him, I don't know if you drew him, to look angry, you can put wrinkles in the nose. You totally can do that. And once you feel okay with what you got, those guidelines can definitely disappear. Probably should have made that pupil a little smaller. See how close the bridge of the nose is to that eye and how much room you actually have over here for that bridge of that nose. All right, with that in mind, do you guys need like a minute or two to actually get caught up? I know I kind of went really fast there. All right, so I'm trying to make her look angry. She got a smile right now. I'm not saying people can't smile when they get angry. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the edge of her mouth to make it truly look like she got a bit of a growl going on here. All right. I call this the Wolverine mouth because back in the 80s, every time you saw a picture of Wolverine, you'd have one side of his mouth open. You might see some sharp teeth in here, like that. That was always kind of a manga thing. I don't know how many of you guys watch anime or read manga. Let that go open. Generally, if somebody's really angry, that line from the curve of the nose over starts pulling that way. So you get that kind of thing going on. When a mouth is smiling, like a true smile, like big and laughing, the lips are stretched thin. So even if you have like somebody with big luscious lips like Angelina Jolie, when she is laughing, the mouth stretches, the lip shape changes. Same thing's going to happen if somebody starts to get angry. That lip's going to clench. You might have some bottom lip here. That's possible, but it may not be as big as it normally is. So that's kind of what we're going through with that. So I'll give you about a minute to play with that, and then we'll start on the ear and the neck and the hair. Ears really depend upon how long the hair is. Now I'll put one in here regardless. Like we said yesterday, an ear is roughly from the nose to the eyebrow. So my ear is probably going to be about that big. My neck connects at the back of that ear. And then hairstyle is up to you. If she needed bangs, like I did a loose hairstyle yesterday, if I was going to give her bangs, like she was kind of that punk rock girl in NCI, I would draw the shape of the bangs first. I wouldn't draw individual hairs. I might do some symbols of what would be splits in the bang. And then I would consider coming back in here and putting a few lines to indicate. When people have hair and their hair is perceived, it's kind of perceived all as one thing at once. We don't count individual strands of hair unless they're off your head. Oh, you got a hair in your coat. Oh, well, great. All right. Now I'm going to bring the rest of her hair down like a bobby cut. There's one side. Is it going to block the ear? Yeah, it might. Maybe she's an angry elf. Well, then in that case, her ear is going to poke out of her hair. And you would see it. Of course, if she's got one ear, she probably has another ear over here. Maybe the rest of her hair is coming this way. She looks like an angry little kid. Look at that. I think I had my split here. So if the back of her hair flows left to right, the roots would be up there. And you could get as crazy with that as you want. You know, she could have really long hair, she could have really short hair. You could have the side of her head shaved. I would do that right now, but it takes a lot of erasing. So I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to give you guys about 2-3 minutes just to play with that. And then we will go on. All right. So in this case, the eyelashes are going to go out to the side because the eye is a sphere. The bottom eyelashes, her cheeks are so tight up here that I don't think you're going to see much in the way of eyelash. If you go too long with these eyelashes, they are going to start to look like fake eyelashes. So you got to kind of keep in that era. If you want your character to look like they have fake eyelashes, then yeah, sky's the limit. They can get crazy. In fact, if she's a fae, if she's out there dancing in the moonlight by the toadstool ring, she could have crazy long eyelashes. Or if it's Pride Parade, there could be all kinds of lashes going on. So, I mean, I could get it like that crazy. And depending on your character, maybe your character just naturally has eyelashes like that. We are not necessarily bound to the limitations of human beings when you are creating a character. So kind of keep that in mind. If you've ever seen Adventure Time, they get away with a lot. Now, their characters aren't in proportion either, but we're going to try to keep ours to that. At least keep one of ours that's reoccurring to the 7.5 heads tall proportion. All right. The side view is different. It is really different. And it's going to look weird. And I'm going to tell you why it looks weird. Is we don't spend our time staring at the side of people's faces. Some point in the next week, you got a handful of change. Look at those presidents and their side profiles. You're used to looking at them because you've seen quarters and nickels and dimes and pennies your whole life. But just look at them really and go, a human head sideways looks weird. It does. You're no longer starting with an egg shape. If you were to touch the back of your head, and if you were a kid who slept on the side, back of your head feels like a basketball or round. I guess it's really not a basketball because it's smaller. So we're going to start with a ball shape. All right? That's what you need to draw. Now, only 1/4 of that is going to actually possess a face. And I'm going to have this face, should I go right or left? I'll go right. No, I'll go left. From the middle of your ball outward, I'm going to draw a square. And I might even take the square a little lower than the bottom of my circle. Just because sometimes I get in trouble if I don't. This square becomes the half point, remember our rule of half, where your eyes are going to sit on this line. Now here's the weird part. And this is how you can tell the first year student from the second year student. First year student will draw an eye like they normally would. But that would mean somebody ripped the eye out of the front of their head and glued it to the side of her head. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this shape that kind of looks like an ice cream cone. An ice cream cone, you say? An ice cream cone, I say. All right, this is what an eye looks like looking forward, is it takes on that kind of shape. All right. There might be some longer lashes toward the back. All right. The eye becomes an ellipse because it's staring forward. I mean, you can make it look backwards and it would have kind of a weird, what are you doing back there look? Like that look your mom gets when she doesn't really want to know what you're doing, but sees you anyway out of the corner of her eye. That's where the eye sits. So that ice cream cone shape becomes kind of the side of the eye. All right. Then I'm going to make a divot, which becomes your nose. So if you were to touch your middle of your nose right now, you would see that divot, or you'd feel that divot. That's where your sunglasses sit. All right. And then our nose comes outward, comes back. I have nostrils that I'm seeing like some sort of teardrop. I'll have the curves on the side of the nose. And then I make this flattened up, straight up in the air M. So that shape becomes my upper lip and my lower lip. And I bring this down. Now we know that our ear goes from the bottom of our nose to the top of our eyebrow. I'm going to arch her eyebrow up like this because I want her to look sad. So my ear becomes right at the back of that square is the shape of the ear. All right, so I kind of went fast on that. I'll recap. Curve by the eye, out for the nose. Now your nose doesn't have to be that pointy. That's a really pointy nose. You could round it. You can make it hang lower if you wanted. Then you have your upper lip, divot in for your mouth, lower lip, chin. Have your chin come back to about the middle of that square. Really depends on the sharpness of your chin. And then once again, your big old honking potato chip for an ear. And since I'm seeing the side of it, now, not only does she look sad, but I could throw a tear in there. You know, I could make it be one of those. So I'm going to give you like a minute or two to kind of play with that, and then I'm going to pop right to hair. Oh, yeah, we still got 5 minutes. So I'm going to let you play with that for a few minutes. Then we're going to pop right to hair, and I'll try to get some sort of version of curly hair on there, even if it has to be a curly mohawk. I'm going to pop my school address in there so you can email me pictures of your faces when you are done with class today. And we're going to start talking about the mohawk. Why a mohawk, you say? Well, I'm going to do the part of the hair that, or the line that would divide the mohawk area from the rest of the face. All right. Everybody has some kind of hairline. So I'm going to say that she's got razor stubble on the side of her head, which I'm going to do this. Make all these little dots. So it's got that kind of vibe. If you don't want to do dots, you could definitely just go dun 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 dun, make little hashes, slash marks. Maybe her hair's out a little longer there. Create that texture. All right. All right. Now let's talk about these curls. Like I said, find a photo. If they have, people have banana curls, you'll come down like this. And then these curls will connect back. I think I messed that up a little bit. All right, so you might start to get that kind of thing. You'll have other curls. Your curls will always fall in waves. So what will happen is you're doing waves like this. Is you will have areas that you will go back and shade in beneath the curls to start to make those areas look like they recede in the hairline. About like so. All right. And maybe some of them you can see under like a weaving. Maybe it's going to be bushier hair. All right, so that kind of does it. Obviously, I would have to keep going if I'm going to finish that off and start making those curls, but that should be pretty good. All right, guys, we're out of time, and I've got a ton of drywall and 2x4s to move. So hopefully you can finish these up, send them to me as a picture, or put them in your portfolio, send me the portfolio link. And I should be seeing you guys, I think, on Tuesday. You got a 3-day weekend this weekend. So enjoy that. You put everything in the portfolio. You put your front one with the rule of the halves. You do your 3/4 one. You do your side view, your profile. Everything you do in here, throw it in the portfolio. Not only